Hello everybody, my name is Chef Stanley Townsend, and we're going to cook it simple, we're going to keep it simple, and we're going to feature some recipes with common ingredients out of the Edmonton Food Bank. We'll be starting off with our first recipe, which is a recipe for Cowboy Beans. First of all, what we're going to do is take some onions, saute those onions off till they turn golden. We're going to kick this up with a little chili powder. Cowboy beans, we're going to make with beans, and we're going to put some wieners in there. Flip that up till they're nice and golden. Then what we're going to do, once those beans are cooked off, we're going to add a couple of cans of cooked beans, and we're going to let that cook and simmer down till the onions complete cooking and the wieners plump out. And there we've got a good start on that. This is a dish that everybody loves, wieners and beans. It's a very, very popular campfire dish, so we'll just let that simmer away. Now while that is simmering, we're going to take our favorite biscuit recipe, and I've already made the dough. Some people call it biscuits, some people call it bannock, whatever your favorite recipe is. Basically made out of 2 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, a little bit of salt, about 6 tablespoons of shortening. I like to use lard or butter. Give it some flavor, and we're just going to roll that out till it's nicely done. And we're just going to take a quick break here for a moment while the beans cook, and we'll be right back to put the biscuit dough on the top. Okay, so the beans are coming up to a nice brisk boil, and what we're going to do is we're going to spike that up with a little barbecue sauce, about 1/3 cup of barbecue sauce or whatever your preference is. And again, campfire beans, cowboy beans, like a little chili powder in there. And those are cooking up pretty good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take them and we're going to put into a casserole dish. I prefer glass casserole dishes. They cook nice and even. As you can see, we have our beans there. And what we're going to do is we're going to top this off. So as the old song goes, bake me up some bacon and some beans. Today we're going to cook up some biscuits and some beans. So I'll just cut that dough roughly till it's the same size as the, carefully take that off. Here's a neat little trick you can try. Just put it on your rolling pin like that, and we'll just roll her on top, pull her nice and even. If you need to do a little bit of trimming, we can still do a little bit of trimming there. And what I like to do with this excess dough is I often like to take that, I save that, and I'll roll that out again, and I'll put a little cinnamon sugar on it and make it into little pinwheel butterscotch rolls. So there we have it. We've got our cowboy beans, a nice savory mixture of beans with the biscuit dough on top of it. We're going to put that into the oven. It's going to bake off, and we'll come back and take a look at it later. Okay, so we're back, and we've brought those cowboy beans out of the oven. They're nice and piping hot. We baked off that biscuit dough till it's nice and tender, cooked through. And we sprinkle a little with cheddar cheese, and just to brighten it up a little bit, we're going to put a little chopped parsley on it, just like that. Not too much. And that should be fine. And what we're going to do is we're going to portion this. Now this is a really nice dish to serve on a Saturday or for a nice lunch. I call it Cowboy Beans because it's, it's really a campfire dish. And I have actually seen people cook this that would prepare it in a cast iron frying pan over a fire. So let's just take that nice healthy portion of those Cowboy Beans. Got the wieners in there. The kids love the wieners. Beans, a little barbecue sauce in there. And there we finished with the Cowboy Beans. Always nice to put a little texture into the dish. Makes a nice Saturday afternoon meal on a cold day. So I hope you can enjoy that. Cowboy Beans. Okay, well, we're taking a break from our cooking and we're back here with a special guest today. We've got Marjorie Benz from the Edmonton Food Bank. And you know, I just want to say that we're absolutely delighted on behalf of EdmontonChefs.ca, Nate, and the Food Bank to take this special collaborative initiative. So welcome, Marjorie.
Well, thank you. We're the ones that are really privileged to have you stand here doing some great cooking and showing people how they can really maximize what they receive in the hamper, and for those who are not food bank recipients, how they can stretch their grocery dollars.
Stretch the dollar, that's what it's all about today.
And a little bit about Edmonton's Food Bank. We're a central warehouse that we collect and redistribute food to over 210 agencies, churches, and food depots. So when someone makes a donation to us, they could be helping one of those many groups out. And this year, our organization turned 35 years. And
wow.
Yeah, and we started out as a gleaning operation. We glean food from the food industry and turn it over to soup kitchens and shelters, and obviously also use it in the hamper programs, which you're showing as well.
Yeah, well, it's excellent. And of course, the economic times now are really putting demands on the food bank. And so I guess we have to learn how to effectively cook. We got to get back in the kitchen and start cooking from scratch again. And that's what we're here about today.
Yes, and the lessons learned today, watching you stand, are really important, because it certainly is helpful for people who are low income, helping them stretch their dollar. And of course, we're all being very conscious about our grocery dollars at this time.
Sure. Well, I've often said, Marjorie, it says you give a person a fish, they can eat sushi. You teach them how to cook, they can have fish and chips.
Right on. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we're back and we're going to make a dish. It could be a very popular vegetarian dish if you made it with vegetable stock. We're going to kind of go down the middle. We're going to use a little chicken stock here. And this dish is a popular Indian dish called Chana. So we're going to start out sauteing up some vegetables. We've got some nice onion that's going to give it some flavor, a little sweetness with the pepper. We're going to kick that up a notch and put in a healthy dollop of garlic. We're also going to add some ginger. Now I prefer to, and we're just going to toss that up a little bit. Let all those flavors blend. And we're going to build layers of spice with that. I've got a secret blend here, some Madras curry powder and a spice called garam masala. So we're going to put that in there. And it's very important that when you're cooking this dish that you let the curry cook out and bend its flavors. Of course, we don't want the curry to burn, so we might have to add a little more oil in there. And as you can see, I wish you could smell it. It smells like Bombay on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to extend. This is a dish that's high in protein because we're going to be using these chickpeas, but also we're going to extend it. Put an additional flavor in it by adding some finely diced potatoes. So we got those finely diced potatoes. I like to use about 50% potatoes. Now these potatoes are going to help the sauce thicken, but they're also going to put a little what I call crunch in the munch. So we're going to add some chickpeas, stir that all around. And like I said, most of these ingredients are commonly found in the hamper from the Edmonton Food Bank. People don't know what to do with them, but this is really a quick and nutritious meal. Now what's going to hold this all together? Most chana is made with a tomato product, whether you use canned tomatoes or use tomato paste. Today I know you've got some tomato soup, quite commonly in that hamper. So that flavor, that tomato soup is going to add some sweetness and add a little acidity to the dish. And we're also going to top that off with your choice of vegetable or chicken stock. So, equal amount of stock. Get our pan anchored here with my ample frame. And there we go. Be very careful not to spill it on their counter. My wife loves my cooking. She just doesn't like the mess I make. Now, as you can see, when we look at this sauce, it's got a really nice viscosity. Beautiful viscosity. And you can see that the color has changed from red to a really appetizing brown. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let that simmer for about 20 minutes or so until the potatoes are cooked. And we'll come right back to that. Okay, so we're back and we're just going to take a quick taste of that. That's great. That's delicious. And sometimes when we're cooking these curry dishes, they get a little hot and spicy. So what we're going to do right at the end is just add a couple of tablespoons of sour cream. If you don't have sour cream, a little milk or whatever, that kind of adds a little richness to the chana and takes off the sharp flavors of the curry. And we're ready to serve. Very quick dish. Come home on a cold winter day. All we're going to do is put a little rice in with that. On that side, a little steamed rice. Basmati rice. Remember, steamed rice is so simple to make. 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of flour, and we'll just serve that up. Num, num, num. Looking great. Great meal for a hot day. Some basmati rice, and that's it. Enjoy. Okay, so we're back again and we're going to make one of my favorite dishes. This is a dish that actually helped me survive during my early hippie days. And this is called Starving Student Fried Rice. You don't have to be a student. So I started off, I sauteed some onions. I'm going to give it some sharpness, some celery. It's going to put some crunch in the munch. And also we're going to add some mushrooms to this, some nice sliced mushrooms. You only need 3 or 4 mushrooms. I know you don't get mushrooms in your food basket, but this is about 50 cents worth of mushrooms, and mushrooms really add a lot of flavor to it. So we're just going to saute those all up. We're going to kick up the flavor a little bit put the salt and the pepper in at the beginning. This will help to build layers of flavor. A little salt, a little pepper. Saute those up. Now, doesn't that look nice, bright, colorful? This is a secret of making good food. It should look good. It should smell good. But most importantly, it's got to taste good. So you see that little bit of red pepper? Now, if you don't have red pepper, sometimes what I'll do is I'll substitute chili flakes. And I think my helper will bring me over some chili flakes. So there we go. We got that all cooked up. Beautiful aroma. We can get it steaming a little bit by adding a little bit of water or stock in this particular case. That's all there is to it. We pre-cooked some rice here. And I'm going to add that rice. So you can see, remember when we're cooking rice, 2 cups of water, 1 cup of rice, a little bit of salt. Cover the rice with the water just so it covers that first finger. So let's put that rice in there. Nothing to that. Of course, if you make this dish, the first thing you want to do is use your rice. Cook your rice. Long grain rice is what we use. And I've got some extra rice here. So if you ever have leftover rice or you cook a whole bunch of rice at one time, this is a good way to use it up. And I'll put all that rice in there. Stir that up. Stir it up. Get the colors out. Get the flavors out. Looking pretty good. Mushroom's got lots of flavor. Red pepper's got lots of color. And of course, what would rice be like? And I'm going to just put a little chicken stock in there to soften up that rice a bit. Adds a little bit of more flavor. A little more dimension. And what would fried rice be without soy sauce? So we're just going to sprinkle a little soy sauce on there. Remember that the soy sauce is very salty. Flip that around a little bit. Let it cook. You can add a little more color, a little more protein. I'm going to toss in some frozen peas. You can actually take the peas straight out of the freezer and mix them up. So look it, when we're cooking that food, what we want is those nice, bright primary colors. Red, green, but where's the yellow? Now what I've done ahead of time is I have actually pre-cooked off some eggs. Just make a little omelet. 2 or 3 eggs. Cook them over moderate heat. Let them cool. Chop them up. Put them into the rice. And what have we got? Nice, beautiful fried rice. I wish I could get fried rice like this in every buffet I went to. Doesn't seem to have the same colors, but what the heck. So there we go. And we are finished with this beautiful fried rice. So now we're going to dish it up and add a little extra protein to it. So I know that you've got this product in your hamper. We're going to put a little tuna in there. Tuna adds lots of protein. This is how to make a dish for 6 people with 1 can of tuna. So that's going to give lots of flavor, lots of additional protein. If you don't like tuna, use salmon. If you don't like salmon or tuna, don't use anything. Put a little chicken in there. And so that dish is finished and it's ready to plate up. We got a nice big bowl here. We got a spoon. We're going to dish up that beautiful fried rice. Now, kids love fried rice. Adults love fried rice. If you go to an Asian restaurant, you'll probably see about 10 different types of fried rice on the menu, but you won't find this. This is called Stan's secret fried rice. Doesn't that look good? I put a little more green onions on the top, and of course, what would Asian food be without a little toasted sesame? And there you go. Beautiful, nutritious, delicious, easy to make dish. And doesn't that look great? Enjoy. Well, thank you everybody for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the program today. I hope you've learned how to cook it simple, keep it simple, and I hope you've learned how to cook some of those popular ingredients that are found in the hamper at the Edmonton Food Bank.